I know you're enjoying this lovely breakfast, but we're going to get today's event started. I'm not usually considered a short person, but I'm feeling a little bit short today. So thank you. And we want to thank OMIA for sponsoring this legislative breakfast series. They're incredibly generous to us every year, support 3 legislative breakfasts. And today from OMIA, we have Wayne Wellmans, Robert Trenergy, Shannon Foster, Alexandra Peak, Chris Cody, and Dan Fairliet. Thank you for sponsoring. I'd also like to recognize Lori Messier-Brochu, who is the president of the Rutland Chamber. Thank you for being here, Lori. John Casella II is president of the Rutland Economic Development Corporation. Thanks, John, for being here. We have lots of legislators in attendance. I would like them all, if you are a legislator, to please stand up so we can thank you all, the best delegation in the state. We also have our distinguished mayor of Rutland City, Dave Allaire. Before I introduce the governor, I would like to thank Wally Sabatka and the Southside Steakhouse for this fabulous breakfast. Now I'd like to introduce our guest speaker for today's legislative breakfast. Phil Scott is the 82nd governor of the state of Vermont, elected for his first term in governor in 2016. Prior to that, Governor Scott served 3 terms as Vermont's lieutenant governor, and before serving as lieutenant governor, he was a senator from Washington County for 10 years, where he was vice chair of the Transportation Committee and the chair of the Institutions Committee. Governor Scott has been consistent with his priorities: growing the economy, making Vermont more affordable, and protecting the most vulnerable. Some important work that's been done around growing the economy includes marketing Vermont with a new Think Vermont brand and very usable website. He is leveraging our outdoor recreation assets and has created a task force to bolster this in VOREC, the Vermont Outdoor Recreation Economic Collaborative. He has also expanded the Downtown Village Center Tax Credit Program along with many other initiatives to grow our economy. Governor Scott has focused on expanding and strengthening our workforce, an issue this region grapples with every day. He has focused on relocation, retention, and recruitment programs like the Remote Worker and New Worker Grant Program by fostering training programs and strengthening efforts to recruit small business as well as other projects. Recently, Governor Scott has been a proponent of the Agency of Commerce and Community Development Regional Marketing and Recruitment Grant Program to support regional efforts to attract more visitors, potential residents, and businesses to Vermont, which falls directly in line with our Real Rutland campaign and the regional marketing initiative efforts to attract people to the Rutland region. The Rutland region plans on contributing to the success of this program to enhance state initiatives with our local efforts, and I personally am hopeful more resources and dedication will be put to this very important program because our regional efforts are working. We look forward to hearing how he continues to move the state of Vermont forward with these priorities in mind. And with a very warm welcome, Governor Scott.
Thank you. Thank you very much. The intro was probably going to be better than my remarks, so maybe I'll just take questions from here. And I agree, this is very high, very, and I'm not known as a short person either. Sorry about that. Well, thank you very much for having me. And there is just really a lot of excitement here in Rutland County, in Rutland in particular, and you can see it around here. Every time I come to visit, I learn something new, and it really is great. It's a grassroots support, and that's what we need. It's got to be built from the bottom up. It can't be built from the top down, but we can help. But the excitement here in the room is a testament to who you are and what this community is about. So I appreciate the opportunity to talk with you about some of the challenges we face as a state, as well as some of the opportunities we have this legislative session. Unfortunately, throughout the country and so forth, or throughout the world, we live at a time when too many are focusing on just politics and just choosing confrontation and partisanship over collaboration and progress. So, but I believe here in Vermont, we have an opportunity. We can set an example and rise above the polarization that's taken over the country. And the fact is, we have to. We have to focus on and address the very real challenges we face here in Vermont. So I know many of you have heard about me talk about our demographic crisis before, but I can't overstate how important and how serious this issue is to our state. Here are some of the facts. There are about 55,000 fewer people under the age of 45 and 44,000 more over the age of 65 than there were in the year 2000. Think about that for a minute. For years, we've had more deaths than births. We've seen more people move out of Vermont than in. And we still have about 18,000 fewer people available for work today than we did in 2009. We're feeling the negative impacts in everything, from our homes, our schools, our colleges, to our hospitals and nursing homes. You've seen it here in Rutland County with the College of St. Joseph and Green Mountain College. And if we don't break this cycle, state and local government won't be able to afford what we currently do, much less what we'd like to do in the future, because costs will continue to rise much faster than our tax burden can sustain. As I travel the state, I see and feel the emotional and financial toll of policies that have made Vermont unaffordable for far too many. Businesses, families, and communities are each doing their absolute best to balance budgets and meet their needs. But the cost of living continues to rise, and we have fewer people filling jobs to help spread the burden. Sustainable economic growth has become too hard and too rare in too many parts of our state. As I told the legislature, if we face this challenge head-on, set clear priorities, clear objectives, and have the discipline to follow through with real solutions, I'm confident we can reverse these trends. And our businesses and economy will grow, putting more kids in our schools and broadening our tax base, making our communities stronger and more resilient than ever before. Some of that work is well underway here in many parts of the state, but it's great to see the Regional Chamber and REDC take this on themselves with that true Rutland grit and determination to bring more people to this area while keeping those already here available as well. In my budget address last week, I outlined initiatives I believe will help us change our trajectory and grow our way out of this challenge that we face. The budget I presented is balanced, makes critical investments in infrastructure, education, our environment, and so much more. All of that without raising taxes, because I believe Vermonters and businesses are already taxed enough. We don't need to add to the problem. As someone once told me, and I use it frequently, we need more taxpayers. We don't need more taxes. Part of the solution is to help our struggling downtowns and villages. So I propose a $1.4 million increase to our downtown and village center tax credit program, bringing it to a total of $4 million. I also know we need more housing that's affordable for working families, which has been a major challenge for all of us in every region. So building on our $37 million housing bond, which will generate, when it's completed, about 800 new units statewide, I propose additional funding to help rehabilitate existing housing stock to bring them back online. These initiatives, along with bipartisan reforms to Act 250, will support more housing, smart growth, and concentrated development in areas where people want to live and work. I've also proposed investments in new initiatives to better respond to the needs of employers. This includes working with the Secretary of State to build an online business portal, which will make it much easier to navigate state government, as well as $1 million to help small technology businesses secure innovation grants and provide a match to federal dollars as well. As an example, and it's worth noting, we piloted these grants last year, and the Mint Makerspace was one of the recipients with a $15,000 grant. As well, I proposed a $1 million incentive program through VITA to provide low-cost loans that convert to no-cost grants after meeting expansion and payroll goals. And to recognize the importance of our larger anchor employers, I proposed a $3 million incentive program, which encourages these companies to make upgrades at their Vermont facilities, and in exchange, they commit to maintaining certain payroll levels. I'm also asking the legislature to invest more in tourism, and this is one of the largest sectors in our economy, with a $1 million investment in tourism and economic development and marketing. I had the Rutland region in mind when I decided to move forward with this initiative for more money in tourism. I saw for myself how important it was for this area when I attended the Women's World Cup in Killington, which brought record crowds and all kinds of accolades from both the athletes and attendees alike, and really put Vermont on the map to say that we're open for business on a national level. Rutland was also where our State of Stay program began, which leveraged state dollars to bring people here. And we hope this increased investment will help further our goals in marketing Vermont and Rutland County as a great place to live, work, and play, as well as be part of the community. I also believe our work to address climate change can drive innovation and economic growth. That's why, in addition to increased investment for electrification, public transportation, and weatherization, I've also proposed investments to support growth of our climate economy. This includes over $3 million to encourage companies to start and expand here by making R&D eligible for tax credit, and provides $2 million in capital and technical assistance, and to send a crystal clear message about how highly we value climate economy employers and how much we want them to be part of our future. I'm proposing that we eliminate the corporate income tax on these job creators. We can and must do more to meet our climate goals in a way that helps Vermonters get ahead and supports economic growth. But I believe we need to do this work with incentives and innovation, not penalties or higher taxes and more regulation. The other part of the equation to help our businesses and communities thrive is expanding and strengthening our workforce. My team will continue to focus on workforce training, retention, and recruitment, including work to double the number of apprenticeships, and unify the state's adult education and adult CTE system to bring together those who need more skills and the businesses who are in desperate need of them as well. We also know the benefits of accessible, affordable childcare. That's why, since I became governor, we increased funding by 30%, about $10 million. To build on this success, I'm asking the legislature to fund an additional $3 million for child care assistance, because investing in early care and learning is good for our kids, working families, schools, as well as our employers. And I know this next issue is politically charged and pertinent, and you may have already heard, but I issued my first veto of the session on the paid family leave bill. This was on Friday. Now, I want everyone to be clear. I want everybody to understand this, and I want to be clear about this. I, too, think it would be a benefit for working families. But I vetoed it because it was funded by a mandatory $29 million payroll tax on workers. But at the same time, it's important to know I'm moving forward on my voluntary paid family and medical assistance program, which will give employers and workers the option to get coverage if they want it. My approach is voluntary, without a $29 million payroll tax. I think many of you in this room understand the danger in opening up the payroll tax door to another tax. And once the floodgate opens, there's so much potential for other programs and more tax burden added on the backs of workers. My program uses our state employees to create an 8,500 member base to establish an affordable family and medical leave insurance plan. And after the union agreed to this benefit, we're already moving forward. And we're taking bids from insurance providers as we speak. We should hear in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Here's how it works. The insurer we select will not only cover our state employees, they'll be required to make it available for Vermont employers and individuals as well. By using the state employee pool, we expect affordable rates of under $300 per employee per year. Employers could purchase this insurance for their employees and have the flexibility to determine how much the employee contributes, if at all. And individuals could also purchase on their own if they choose. I truly believe this is an approach that will make this benefit available to Vermonters more quickly without a $29 million payroll tax that we know all too well could grow and put us at a risk of underfunding, much like the underfunding we see in other pension funds and so forth. Vermonters can't afford for us to get this wrong, and there's a lot to go wrong without trying it first. With the approach that I laid out, it gives us flexibility, and we could always add to it or even make it mandatory in the future, but we'll have the foundation and structure in place and build from there. So I'm just a contractor, and I know building the foundation is the most important part of anything, whether we're talking about child care or we're talking about this program. So we have to get this right and build it first, and not give more than we can afford, and be able to build from there. Now, these are just some of the many ideas I put forward to help grow our economy, make Vermont more affordable, and protect the most vulnerable. But the bottom line is, every policy decision we've made is designed to achieve these goals while living within our means. Each of us, individually and within our businesses, have to do this every single day, and state government should too. That's why we're examining the true costs of every program we fund, rethinking old policies and outdated systems, and measuring the value of every taxpayer dollar invested based on the results we're getting out, not on how much money we're putting in. Because as most of us in business know, not all problems can be fixed or solved by just throwing money at it. With this approach, I'm confident we can work our way out of this, but we're going to have to put aside politics and work together in order to get anything done. So I thank you very much. Look forward to answering some of your questions at this point. Do you want to do that? Okay.